Oh my gosh, I've just arrived on Viva 2. I'm about to embark on my first ever European river cruise with Viva Cruises. We're taking the Iron Gates itinerary, which is from Passau, Germany, all the way to Serbia, with stops in Hungary, Austria, and lots of other spots in between. Follow along as I explore the Danube River on this 11-day itinerary. Let's take a tour of the Viva 2. Viva Cruises is a luxury river cruising company based in Dusseldorf, Germany. I hopped on a boat with my family. It's a multi-generational trip. My sister and I are millennials, and my parents are boomers, and we had so much fun. Let's take a tour. When you arrive on the Viva 2, you'll head to the reception area to check in. If you're staying in a suite, you'll be the first to get on the boat. Here is a tour of our suite. We had a big, giant, comfy bed. If you're traveling with your sister like I was, they'll separate the beds, so you have two single beds. There's a little seating area with a desk as well as a chair with a television. And then in the bathroom, it's quite chic. There's a sink with a toilet and a really lovely shower. The water pressure was amazing. It's better than my apartment in Toronto. They also have mini fridge. Every day the mini fridge is replenished, and on the arrival day you're given a complimentary bottle of Prosecco. You can also have some fresh juices, some Fanta, Coca-Cola, and of course Warsteiner. When you arrive in the boat, check out this booklet. It lists all of the different Viva Cruises that you can book across Europe to give you some inspiration. From my bed, I, throughout the cruise, enjoyed pulling back the curtains and waving as we arrived into each city. You can really enjoy watching all of those cute little European villages on the Danube go by. If you're looking to keep fit on holiday, head to the gym. You'll see they have a rowing machine, treadmill, and bike, as well as free weights and a bouncy ball, as well as yoga mats. They also have a wellness program, so there's a spa, so you can book a massage, and they also have a separate Scandinavian area, so they have a Finnish-style eucalyptus steam room, as well as a Swedish-style cedarwood sauna. You can book this with your family, or if you're a couple, as something romantic to do together. They also have a shower inside. We recommend booking the spa experience after a long day walking around Vienna or Budapest when your feet are feeling sore. So after you've checked into your room, there's a welcome coffee and cake experience. They have a live pianist. You'll be greeted with glasses of wine, and then they have a little bit of a buffet situation with open-faced sandwiches. We hadn't had lunch because we left Munich and had just had breakfast, so this was a great way to have a little nosh in the afternoon before dinner. So we enjoyed slices of cakes, and then they brought around cups of coffee. It was a great way to socialize, enjoy watching the beautiful German countryside as we left Passau. Later in the afternoon, they had welcome champagne and canapes. The champagne was offered as soon as we arrived into the lounge, and then they came around with cute little canapes. And then the cruise director introduced all of the different managers of the boat so we could get to know them. So there's everything from the chef to the head bartender, food and beverage manager, a great way to get to know the team taking care of us. The top deck is really the place you want to be. You'll see that there is a hot tub, a flank of lounge chairs with umbrellas, then these huge overhead shaded areas so that you don't get a sunburn, as well as on the right hand side here, you'll see there's lots of cute little chairs. The top deck is where you want to be when the weather is nice. Really, the whole point of a European river cruise is to watch as the scenery goes by. You'll see we can find castles on the hill and beautiful little villages. Let's check out the food and beverage program on board. Riverside Restaurant is the signature restaurant where you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Here's the breakfast buffet. It starts with fresh fruit juices, some fresh fruit, always sliced cheese, charcuterie. There's always a nice hunk of brie, the best scrambled eggs you've ever had in your life, hash browns, hard-boiled eggs, bacon, sausages, sautéed mushrooms, and then we've got smoked fish, freshly sliced vegetables, as well as fruit, salad, yogurts, muesli, Berkshire muesli, as well as a pastry section and area to make your own toast. You've got cinnamon buns, danishes, donuts, and lovely jam. The coffee machine makes cappuccinos, or you can also order a la carte, like waffles and eggs Benedict, so there's a mixture of buffet and a la carte situations. Lunch and dinner is really fancy affair at the Riverside. The menu changes every day here. The other two restaurants, the menu stays the same, so people like to eat here a lot because the menu is always different. For lunch and dinner, it's a set menu. At lunch, they always have salad bar as well as lovely little appetizers. There's always a pasta of the day, so you can always enjoy a different pasta at lunch. And then in the evenings, what we really loved is there's always local market fare. So in each port of call, if you're in Hungary, there'll be Hungarian food. Here, for example, we are in Serbia, and they had really famous Serbian sausages. In Austria, they'll have schnitzel. And in Germany, we had a giant spinach bread dumpling with this huge slice of ham, as well as sauerkraut. So it's a really great way to get a taste of the countries that you're visiting. It was white asparagus season, so I had to get the white asparagus with hollandaise and poached egg. We also had a lovely assortment of salads throughout the trip and soups. The wine also pairs nicely with where you're staying. This is a Hungarian goulash. We also had beef cheeks. And my favorite of the whole trip was the chicken paprikash with spatzla, little noodles, and this was offered on our second day in Hungary. This is a Hungarian pork stew. We also had this delicious apple strudel, so the desserts as well are a perfect pairing. The bar is located on the bow of the ship. You can get really great views here from the outdoor patio, and there's floor-to-ceiling windows, so really great views as you're puttering down the Danube. We have, of course, complimentary alcohol throughout the whole trip. They have Warsteiner on tap, both Hefeweizen and their Pilsner, some lovely bar nuts, and a whole selection of cocktails, as well as different wines like Riesling, which is really popular in Germany. Viva's Bistro is the restaurant located on the stern, so you enjoy beautiful views as you are leaving the destination. So there's an outdoor patio here, and you can see this is where you can get the great views from outside. Lunches are more casual fare. There's a really popular tomato soup, fish and chips, as well as a Spanish beef salad. And we also got burgers one day. They are incredibly juicy. They come with fries. Really great pairing with a nice cold German Pilsner. The beef just drips. Look at Jana. She's got mayonnaise all over her face. She just couldn't help herself. At dinner at Viva Bistro, it's kind of the steakhouse vibe of the ship. We really liked having dinner here. We ate here twice. You do have to make reservations in advance because it's more of an intimate setting. You can have a Caesar salad, really great beef tenderloin with hollandaise and fried prawns. Moments is the third restaurant on ship. It's a Italian restaurant concept. They have a lovely little bar, as well as both booth seating, as well as seating in the center of the dining room, and there's an open kitchen so you can watch the chef cooking up your pastas and pizzas. At lunch, there is a salad bar that is accompanied by an a la carte menu that is focused mostly on pizzas. So you can see there's lots of bread, and they do have a pasta of the day that is always a spaghetti tossed in a buttery garlic sauce served out of a Parmesan cheese wheel. Lunch is mostly pizzas. They also have a lasagna that you can order. At dinner, Janice arrived and was serenaded by a live guitarist, which was really lovely. We started off our dinner with a clink of wine. You can see they also have a complimentary buffet that's served with the a la carte menu at moments in the evening with desserts, as well as antipasti and salads and a lovely cheese selection. In the evening, it's less about pizza and more about pasta, so there's a whole selection of pastas on the menu, from risotto, as well as some mains, including fish and meat. My mother got these lamb chops with polenta, which she really loved, and the gnocchi with beef and broccoli is delicious. Now that we've taken a tour of the Viva 2, I'm going to walk you through the 11-day itinerary with stops in each port of call. The Iron Gates are a famous, beautiful, scenic area on the border of Serbia and Romania. That will be at the end of the trip. We're starting off with our first port of call, which is Bratislava in Slovakia. This is the capital of Slovakia, and you arrive here on your second day. So we arrived in Passau, arrived in the afternoon, and then slept overnight and woke up in Bratislava. It was formerly part of Czechoslovakia. The country broke into two, now the Czech Republic and Slovakia. On the tour, you get a private guide who enjoyed teaching us all about Bratislava's unique history, took us into some of the most famous coffee shops. We tried one of the country's most famous pastries, which is filled with a poppy seed paste. Super delish. We got very lucky with the weather. It was sunny. We enjoyed a walk through the famous restaurant street where you can see all of the different dishes that are popular in Bratislava. They really love patios here. Our guide actually went up to one of the boards and explained some of the most famous signature dishes. We also headed into a honey shop. This is really popular with tourists. Honey products are really popular in Slovakia. You can see these are bottles of locally produced honey. They also have honey jams, as well as tons of beeswax candles that are made into little sculptures. So these are really good idea if you're looking to take some gifts home from your river cruise of the Danube. They also have these cute little Slovakian dolls that are filled with lavender. As we continued our tour, we hopped on a train that chugged us through the city so that we could visit the most popular destination, which is Bratislava Castle. It sits perched on a big hill overlooking the Danube. We just did a visit on the outside, so there's some really great sculptures. We had to do a little bit of a hike up these steps to enjoy the best views. You can get 360-degree views that overlook the castle as well as the Danube. And look below, you'll see part of the fort as well as Bratislava's famous bridge. At the top there's a little area where you can have a drink and enjoy the view. Our next stop was Belgrade. This is the capital of Serbia, and we would spend 3 days on the cruise at different destinations in Serbia. We started off the tour by getting a walk through the main pedestrian street. There's a really famous fountain that has spring water where locals like to slurp up water, and it's a fun place to people watch. This I really loved. I just happened to cross this. In the front of this church, they had an amazing selection of mini churches. St. Sava's Cathedral is the #1 most visited attraction in Belgrade and probably one of the most famous in all of Serbia. It's a must visit. It's the largest Orthodox church in Serbia, one of the largest Eastern Orthodox churches, and it ranks among the largest churches in the world. Its dominating dome resembles that of the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, after which it had been modeled. It's a massive church with a dome that is 70 meters high, and the dome unbelievably weighs over 4,000 tons. The interior features a large chandelier and mosaics made of gold. Head down to the crypt, you'll just have to walk down those little staircase, and you'll be able to see the area used to bury Serbian Orthodox patriarchs. There's a chandelier, just outrageously glittering gold, really beautiful scenes from the Bible. You'll also get a chance to see some traditional Serbian woodwork and really compare the art that you've seen in other parts of Europe with how Serbian artists depict their icons, including Mary, Joseph, Jesus, and parables throughout the Bible stories. When we visited the cathedral, it was pouring rain, so my memories will forever be of being a little bit damp, and it's a great place to visit if the weather is inclement. After visiting the cathedral, the sun came out. We visited the city's most famous park, which is located in and around Belgrade's beautiful fortress. There are lots of activities to enjoy at the fortress. You can do most of it for free. Look, there's a bridge over the moat. As we head into the fortress, there's these ancient giant gates. Really fun. There was no cost to enter the park as well as the fortress area, but there are plenty of museums inside the fortress that you may want to pay for, as well as some cafes and great gift shops. The fortress includes some really interesting plaques that describe some of the history of the area, because you do see that there are some walled ruins. As we come through the fortress, here's another one of the gates. There's several gates that you can enter and exit. After marching all over the Belgrade fortress, we headed back to the boat, freshened up. After dinner, the Viva Cruise team had invited a famous local dance troupe to perform.
Hey, Alpha! Jump, hey! Novi Sad! Hey, Alpha!
following morning, we woke up and we had sailed further down the Danube and were officially at the Iron Gates. This is where Romania and Serbia meet. So these are the borders. On one side of the boat, you've got Romania. On the other side, you've got Serbia. Everyone in the morning, even before breakfast, came up onto the roof to enjoy the views. Look at the scenery and how it changes. There's just gorgeous mountains on your left and right. We even found really cool waterside basilicas and cathedrals. This is a priest that came out to bless our boat. Like, talk about amazing. The most famous is the rock formation. It's a sculpture of Decebalus, which is a colossal carving of the face of the last king of Dacia, who fought against the Roman emperors to preserve the independence of his country, which corresponds to present-day Romania. After visiting the Iron Gates, we then headed to Donji Milanovic. Our boat stopped on the shores here, where we spent the afternoon. Right off the boat, they have lots of vendors selling local fashions, and they have a beautiful fountain. The town is really quaint. You can walk around in 30-45 minutes. It was a weekend, so we got lucky. There was a little market on the street. You could see locals purchasing fresh flowers. It was spring, so lots of people were selling plants and herbs for people to put in their gardens. They have a cute little church in town with really great ceiling. Look at that fresco, as well as a chandelier and lots of glittering gold. So make sure to pop in and check out the church. And then as you continue on, you're going to then meet up with your guide and head to Leensky Ver. This is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world. Leensky Ver is an ancient Mesolithic settlement in Serbia. It's notable for its unique trapezoidal houses and sculptures, which are the first known examples of portrait sculptures and larger-than-life size art in Europe. The site is estimated to be around 8,000 years old. It also features early evidence of planned settlements, agriculture, and a complex social structure. The art is really amazing. They have a little museum section where you can actually see some of the rock formations that were found. It's wild to think that 8,000 years ago, humans were carving these what look like fish into the stone. The settlement is right off the Danube. They also have some of the archaeological finds. There were, of course, human remains found, so some of these 8,000-year-old skeletons, and you can see how they were buried. Our next stop is Golabak Fortress. The famous landmark in Serbia is known for its unique architecture, a blend of Byzantine and Ottoman styles, and its strategic location on the Danube. The fortress's name is said to come from a legend about a beautiful girl named Gulabana, who was punished by an Ottoman commander for refusing to join his harem. The fortress is also known for its hat tower, a distinctive multi-story structure, and its role in numerous historical conflicts, including being a point of contention between the Hungarian, Serbian, and Ottoman empires. Recent archaeological excavations have uncovered a lime kiln and Turkish bath hammam, adding to the fortress's unique historical significance. Get back on the boat, grab a drink, head to the roof, and enjoy beautiful views of the fortress as you head down the Danube. The following day, we woke up in Novi Sad. Serbia's second largest city was founded in 1694 when Serb merchants formed a colony across the Danube from the Petrovaradin Fortress, a strategic Habsburg military post. In subsequent centuries, it became an important trading, manufacturing, and cultural center, and has historically been dubbed the Serbian Athens. There's lots of university students here. It has a really lovely vibe. The main square, you'll have a guide that takes you right here. You'll see some of the really great architecture. There's lots of little tourist spots. Locals love to bike and pedal and walk around the city. There's a big patio culture, so you can always grab a bite, have a coffee on the street, and enjoy people watching. You can take the tour with a guide, or it's also very easy to see this destination on your own if you're feeling like just doing it by yourself. There are some churches you can head into, also some museums, including a really fabulous art gallery, lots of gift shops and murals that are great for snapping photos. During our guided tour, we stopped at a local beer hall. It's essentially a restaurant with a really great patio. Guests on the tour are offered a drink, and we made sure to order a local Serbian beer. Crudina Monastery is a historical Serbian Orthodox monastery founded in the early 16th century. Our guided tour had us hop on a bus, and it's about a 20 to 30 minute drive from the city, and On the tour, you're going to head right into the monastery and check out the beautiful frescoes in the church, many of which date back to the mid-18th century. It's considered to be a key example of Serbian Baroque architecture. On the outside, you'll see really ancient frescoes. As we skip inside, you'll notice that there's two distinct rooms. The first has really beautiful frescoes on the ceiling and all around the interior of the building, but also notice that it really is quite dark. So a lot of the colors they used were quite dark, not at all like the really bright Baroque color and gold that you'll see later on our river cruise in places like Budapest and Vienna. As we come into the main area of the church, this is over the altar. There's much larger space, big beautiful chandelier, and look at these beautiful golden panels. The monastery also holds the remains of significant figures, including the Branovic family and King Milan Abramovic. As you leave the monastery, make sure to look at some of the sheep that wander nearby. The next day we woke up in Hungary, and Kalocsa was absolutely my favorite tour of the entire cruise, so make sure to book it. You're going to start at a folk museum where you'll see little ladies painting eggs. It was Easter time, but we started off with a folk dance. Just take a look at how fun this is. After the dance performance, our guide took us into the museum. We walked right into this historic Hungarian house. It really gives you a great impression of how rural Hungarians lived. You can see painting, fresh florals all over the walls, as well as their outfits. Florals are just a huge, huge part of the folk art scene in rural Hungary, and they have some examples of the outfits that they have designed. You can purchase some of these beautiful handmade pieces of fancy fashion. Kalocsa is the capital of paprika production in all of Hungary. As you may know, paprika is put in almost every Hungarian dish. It is a spice with dried chili, and as we arrived, they gave us a little paprika treat. Inside the Paprika Museum, our guide taught us all about paprika, which originally these peppers came over from Latin America, then the Ottomans introduced them, so there's this really fascinating history of how the important vegetable used to make paprika that is, of course, dried and then ground into a powder that then can be added to everything from chicken paprikash to goulash. This is a versatile spice. We learn all about the health benefits and got to see some really vintage paprika tins. After you visit the museum, they'll have a display of all of these paprika items. You can buy paprika vodka, but like a paprika alcohol that's very strong. They also have paprika that is made in tubes, so it's actually wet. It has a bit of oil in it, so you can easily just squirt it into a sauce or a soup. They also had some incredibly fiery alcohol that we sipped that had a taste of peppers. Next, we got a taste of Hungarian farm life by heading over to the Pusta Hort show, which offers a glimpse into Hungary's rich equestrian heritage and featured skilled Hungarian cowboys. The show takes place in a picturesque countryside setting. So these horseback riders are throwing their whips, which make this really loud cracking sound. There's even a cute little rider on a donkey, which you can see at the back there. We spent about 45 minutes enjoying the show. We were given glasses of wine when we arrived, as well as bread slices slathered in pork lard with a little bit of a pinch of paprika, which is a classic snack. And over the 45 minutes, we got to see classic gray cows, and then this is just insane. We've got this dramatic horse carriage ride that is more than a ride. It is like they are just vamos all over the place. It is just a whirlwind of excitement. And then the most amazing situation was when a guy came out he is standing on the back of like 12 white horses, and he doesn't fall, and he actually survives and doesn't break his neck. which we were incredibly surprised by. We thought, just like, look how fast he's going. And then once he finished everything up, all of the team came over and cheers with their beer. It was a really amazing experience. If you love horses, it's a really cool way to experience traditional Hungarian cowboy culture. After the show, we all hopped on these cute little carriage rides and sauntered and galloped across the farm. And then once the carriage ride was finished, we were invited to check out the stables to see how all the horses are cared for. They've got all the hay they could ever want. We even saw a horse bath because they were cleaning some of them. And you can walk around the property. They've also got these really fascinating goats. Look at these horns. I've never seen anything like that. It was the spring, so they had cute little recently birthed babes. These giant cows I could not get enough of, and they had all the cows hanging out in one area, and you could see lots of cute little baby cows as well. The next morning we woke up in Budapest, the capital of Hungary. This is one of the most popular stops on the Iron Gates tour because it's just an eye-popping capital city known as the Paris of Eastern Europe. Our guided tour started in a bus with a visit to the Buda side of the Danube, and then we headed over to Pest, where we first visited St. Stevens Basilica, which is a massive neoclassical cathedral with a dome reaching 96 meters. It's the largest church in Hungary and one of the tallest buildings in Budapest, tied with the Hungarian Parliament building. The basilica can accommodate up to 8,500 people. The basilica houses Hungary's largest bell, which is called the Great Bell of St. Stephen, which weighs an outrageous 9.25 tons. The basilica contains the holy right hand of St. Stephen, Hungary's most sacred relic. It's stored in a little glass case. Lots of people, especially Hungarians, of course, come to take a photograph of this withered wrist. Our next stop was Heroes Square. So a short bus ride from the Basilica, we headed to this square that is filled with beautiful sculptures and statues. After that, we headed over to the nearby castle. This is a large park in Budapest where you can visit a castle. There's also a very famous spa, so if you want to take the afternoon off, you can head over to the spa, wave goodbye to the group, and enjoy a amazing Hungarian massage and just bubble around in beautiful spa baths. We decided to head to the actual castle because look at the views you get here. The architecture is really amazing. All of this is free access and entry. After we finished lunch, we spent the afternoon enjoying the sun, just strolling around Budapest. The chain bridge is one of the most famous places to get photos because there's these ginormous lion sculptures, so make sure to pop by that bridge for a photo op. The views overlooking Buda Castle on the other side are really great, and you really can appreciate all the gorgeous architecture. The Hungarian Parliament is a must visit. It's surrounded by beautiful gardens. This is really the landmark of the city. Most people, when they think of Budapest, they think of this very unique architecture of the Parliament building. After strolling around the Parliament, we then headed more into the interior of the city to check out some of the most popular pedestrian streets. We found Ferris wheels. We just turned into little alleyways with really fabulous patios. Of course, they've got just great cafe and patio culture in Budapest. Look at this huge patio called Anna Cafe. It was just packed full of people enjoying an Aperol Spritz. The Central Market Hall is a must visit. We do recommend visiting the morning. On the main floor, you will find tons of paprika products, so you can always get your paprika to take home from Hungary's most famous food market. They also sell everything from local pasta to wine. Of course, locals will be here buying butchery treats, cured sausage, smoked fish, local cheeses. Make sure to head up the escalator or stairs to the second floor. There are tons of great gifting ideas. If you're looking to go shopping, there's classic Hungarian folk art, rugs, and even Christmas ornaments. The boat leaves at around midnight, so you have the whole evening after dinner to visit the city or just head up onto the roof and enjoy the views from the river. Once the capital of the Kingdom of Hungary and the seat of the Hungarian kings, Esztergom is considered the spiritual center of Hungary. The city plays a central role in the history of Christianity in Hungary, as it was here that the first Hungarian king, Stephen I, was crowned. The Estreg Basilica, a masterpiece of classicism and the largest church in Hungary, will captivate you with its impressive architecture. During the guided tour, we learned about the construction history and the significance of this sacred place. We started our tour on the Slovakian side of the river to get great photos and videos, and then we headed straight up to the basilica to enjoy beautiful views overlooking the city of Esztergom, and then you can see the Slovakian town on the other side of the river. Here are some fun facts. It's the tallest building in the country, reaching over 100 meters. Inside, visitors can explore the Renaissance Bakocek Chapel, a unique surviving Renaissance building in Hungary. The basilica's main altar painting, a masterpiece by Michelangelo Girogoletti, is the world's largest single canvas altarpiece. The basilica also houses the largest ecclesiastical treasury in Hungary, showcasing treasures like the Calvary of King Matthias and the Arpad dynasty's coronation cross. Our next stop, waking up in the beautiful capital of Austria. You quickly learn that the people of Vienna love to cycle, just like Amsterdam and Copenhagen. The architecture forces a jaw drop. You'll be just as impressed as visiting Florence, Paris, or Madrid. We enjoyed a guided tour in the morning of the city, which featured jaw-dropping architecture, endless courtyards that continued to eye-pop, just beautiful everything. Like, look at these tops of these roofs and the ceilings of frescoes that are just in public squares. It really is an oh my goodness every time you turn a corner in this city. Austria, just like Hungary, is famous for its love of horses. Throughout Vienna, you'll find lots of horse-drawn carriage rides. These take tourists through the major attractions in the city. We explored some of the beautiful patios and really lovely bakery shops. Loved all these little pies and cakes. Make sure to head to the pedestrian area near the cathedral. You'll find really high-end shops like Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Christian Dior, and there are really amazing spots to take some pictures. So on this street you'll also find some sculptures, more little churches that are flanking both sides of the street, this huge golden sculptural work, and now we're going to skip inside St. Stevens Cathedral, which is the most famous church in all of Vienna. St. Stephen's Cathedral is Austria's tallest church, standing 136 meters high. It's also known for its unique, colorful tiled roof, featuring intricate patterns and mosaics. The cathedral houses the second largest free-swinging bell in Europe, the Purmerend, and it's featured on the logo of Vienna's famous Manor Stricken slices. Our guide dropped us off at the cathedral and gave us about an hour of free time, so we decided to go into the cathedral, and we had just enough time to sit at a outdoor cafe. Vienna coffee houses and Vienna cake shops are iconic. You have to get a saccatort. We went to this pretty pink location, had a saccatort with a chocolate fudge ice cream, also a Viennese coffee, which is basically a cappuccino topped with whipped cream. And then, to my heart's delight, the most Austrian thing you can possibly imagine happened. We literally happened across a sausage parade. People are dressed in traditional Austrian outfits, and they're handing out cheese-filled sausages. We found out it was International Sausage Day. After our walking tour of Vienna in the morning, we headed back to the boat to have lunch, and then after just a quick 1 hour break, we got picked up by another tour guide to enjoy a tour of the Belvadier Palace, which is a must-visit historical and cultural landmark for art lovers. It's a Baroque palace complex with two palaces, the Upper and Lower Belvedere, as well as beautiful outdoor gardens. The Upper Belvedere is known for its impressive art collections, including a renowned collection of works by Gustav Klimt, while the Lower Belvedere was originally a residence for Prince Eugene of Savoy. The palace also houses Austrian art from the Middle Ages, which is what you'll see as soon as you arrive in the palace. The second floor is where you'll find more contemporary works. We recommend doing the guided tour with Viva Cruises because the guide will give you lots of information on the artworks, the importance and history of the palace. There are staircases, so if you have any mobility issues, make sure to take the elevators. This is the most famous piece of art at the palace. It's the Kiss by Gustav Klimt. Absolutely gorgeous. There's a whole room of his work, so if you're a Klimt fan, this is the place for you. You'll also find works by famous artists like Egon Schiele, Vincent van Gogh, Auguste Rodin, as well as Napoleon crossing the Alps, the painting by the famous French artist Jacques-Louis David. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? After finishing inside the palace, enjoy all the art your heart can delight, and make sure to pop by the windows to enjoy views over the garden. They're really spectacular, and smell the fresh tulips. Our last day of the cruise starts in Durnstein in Austria, so you're going to get off the boat here. The options are doing a lovely bike ride along the river through beautiful vineyards. This is one of the most famous wine regions in Austria, or the most popular is Mel Abbey. Upon arrival, we were given about an hour before our guided tour starts, so we went through the gardens. You'll see beautiful lemon trees, this fabulous fountain, this pink building looks like a cute little palace, and if you head inside, you're going to see ceiling to floor frescoes. I read a little bit on the panels about the fact that the four sides of each are representations of each continent. So if you look really closely, you'll see African leaders, European, Latin American, a really interesting look at how Austrians perceived the world. So here you can see each side of the ceiling. Here we got Africa, so you've got some elephants in there. It really is fantastical, very Baroque, really over the top, and the colors are really bright, white, pinks, really inspirational. They have a little cafe and cantina here, so you can enjoy ice cream, coffee, and all of the artwork on the ceiling is actually on the tables as well, which is a really fun connection. Once you finish in the petite little palace to check out the frescoes, head to the gardens. The gardens feature everything from a Japanese-inspired gardens. Look, this kind of looks like a Japanese temple, to contemporary art. You can walk through some of the pieces. Here is a really interesting steel structure. There's lots of beautiful tulips. We were here at the end of April, so it was the start of the spring season. They've got beautiful floral tunnels. This is a view overlooking one of the other gardens. So it's a nice mix of art and gardens, and there's lots of shade, so if it's a hot day, make sure to enjoy. Mel Abbey is an imposing Baroque structure overlooking the Danube River. It was founded in 1089, and it's a functioning Benedictine monastery and home to the Stiftungsgymnasium Melk, one of Austria's oldest secondary schools. The Abbey's library houses a vast collection of manuscripts, and it was a center of the Melk reform movement in the 15th century. The guided tour of the Abbey takes just under an hour. You'll explore some museum exhibits. Once you come out of the museum section, there's a terrace area where you can get beautiful views over the town of Melk, as well as looking up at the cathedral. So this is the exterior of the cathedral, and as we skip inside the cathedral, you'll then also see this beautiful staircase heading down to the church. The Abbey's over-the-top Baroque architecture includes its iconic church with stunning frescoes. It's really a masterpiece of Baroque art and design. I think I'm going to give my father the last word here. After spending 11 nights on a Viva cruise of the Iron Gates, we visited so many cathedrals, basilicas, and churches, from gorgeous structures in Vienna and Budapest to this gorgeous abbey. And my father, without a doubt, said the last church on our stop right here was the most impressive. If you're looking to enjoy a multi-generational trip with baby boomers, millennials, and more, we really recommend a Viva cruise of the Danube River. The Iron Gates is an amazing itinerary. Thanks so much for following along. If you're looking for additional travel tips on how to plan the best luxury vacation, subscribe to Dauber Nation Loves.